Hey, this is Jenny Jones, Digital Growth Hacks Club. Listen, today has been bananas, right? Oh man, this AI stuff is crazy. So listen, if this is your first time here, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Let YouTube know we are in the building, we're in the house. Listen, I have a special guest for you, right? I couldn't wait to get her on the show, but she is here today. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it here. Well, let me go ahead and bring her on the show. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Hey, how are you? So nice to be on here with you.
Yeah, it's glad to have you here. I am. Listen, I today, if I even told you how my day went, right? My wife of 20, what are we on? 28 years? I think we're going on 28 years. We had the biggest blow up yesterday. I don't want to put that on social media, but I'm just saying because we're totally on two opposite spectrums, and it's funny because I was even working with my AI crew. We have a new YouTube channel, AI AI lab, right? We were debating about the future of AI and all that, and so I've been getting into these little debates lately. So I got to chill a little bit. But anyway, that's small talk. So listen, I'm gonna put you in a single shot. I want you to tell people who you are and what's going on with your business and why people should take interest of it. So I'm gonna give you about a 60-second elevator pitch and let people know what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for having me on. And so I'm the co-founder of vocable.ai, which is an AI-powered content marketing platform that essentially helps businesses streamline their content strategy, content planning across multiple channels with just, one prompt and being able to pick your channels and come up with kind of a campaign strategy that really is more cohesive. And so we launched it actually earlier this year, and it's been an exciting journey to finally get a lot of real time feedback from users. My whole goal with the product is really to be able to create an end to end system that streamlines the content lifecycle, specifically the grunt work that goes behind the scenes of ideating, brainstorming, creating the content, being able to optimize it across different platforms. It's getting harder and harder now and more overwhelming for a lot of business owners to streamline a lot of that, which is kind of is a big bottleneck as to why most businesses are not showing up online and sharing their message and turning their expertise into resonant content that actually connects with their audiences. And so that's always been really my North Star when it comes to this product. My background is in content marketing, so I am a domain expert. I've done this across the board from agency work, working with big biotech startups to streamline their content strategies and communications, all the way to launching my first startup, which was in the publishing and the content thought leadership space. That was called sway.com. And then because of my experience running Sway and running content operations and helping actually a lot of small business owners and thought leaders create content that resonates with their audiences, we ended up getting into AI early on to really be able to streamline a lot of what we were able to help business owners do manually. Now we're able to offer that as a self-serving process through AI.
Nice. That was a lot, man. So listen, I know, we were trying to link up times and everything, and I appreciate you just finding time to connect with us here today. So listen, so you guys are running a campaign right now on AppSumo, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to see in the chat how many people already pull Vocable. We call it pulling off the shelf, taking a look at it, kicking the tires. I just want to know how many people have pulled it off the shelf, kicked the tires. I mean, if you want to, and you want to share, put what tier do you have in here? I'm just interested to know because when I think I want to say Vocable was one of my I think it was one of my Wednesday winners. I can't remember. I have to go back to because I pulled this tool. I was like, man, this tool is phenomenal. Definitely because of the work that I do and stuff like that. So I'm just interested to see what what my audience what did they pick up there. So tell me real quick, right? So tell me real quick on your tell me what people can get like with the with what is the let me ask you this, right? Because I had all my questions now. I can't
Yeah.
find them. Tell me what is the superpowers of your tool because there's a couple of different tools. that kind of do some of the things you do. But so what is your superpower? You think the number one superpower is of Vocable right now?
So we're able to really be able to create a full content plan across different channels with just, one prompt and one click, which I think a lot of the other AI tools out there in the market have offered one-off posts. So you're able to jump in and then create, one post for an Instagram caption, or maybe a script for your reel or your YouTube script. But with Vocable, the idea is to be able to think more in campaigns versus one-off posts, which is a very big strategy that a lot of content marketers use, so that you can create a cohesive plan that continuously builds a story. So you're not starting from scratch every single time with every post. I mean, we've had tools like ChatGPT and Claude. We have these AI chatbots, but we still are really what we're getting from that is one-off posts every now and then. So you have to jump on and say, okay, write me a post about AI agents and the future of work or something like that. So you almost have to really direct them on what kind of post to create. And then it gives you the post and you copy and paste it. And then you kind of, do whatever you need to do with it. With Vocable, you're able to just brain dump your thoughts or your ideas, or maybe even your expertise, or any trending topics that you really want to focus on a higher level. And it takes that and turns it into a cohesive campaign across either multiple channels. Let's say you want to create, for the next month, I want to talk about AI agents across my LinkedIn, Instagram, or TikTok. Or you can create a full 30-day content campaign for one specific channel that is actually cohesive and continuously builds on your thought leadership or on your marketing messaging. So it's really rooted in content marketing best practices, which is something a lot of business owners and people who are not trained in this field don't necessarily grasp, and the learning curve is too high to be able to really think as a content marketer. And we're able to really make that process a lot easier. And on top of that, we think about scale, because it's a numbers game now. You want to be able to post consistently. You want to be able to post content that is aligned with your messaging across different platforms. So we're thinking in quality and quality, that you don't have to trade one off for, you don't have to trade quality for quantity or vice versa. So we're thinking at scale, but also strategic and emotionally resonant content. That's the third layer that I think we really tend to focus on a lot more than other AI tools. And again, this is a work in progress as well. And what I've found with other AI tools is that they just give you generic content, because chatbots in general are trained in a way to stay neutral because they cater to a huge audience. They're versatile. Our approach to our AI output is to really focus and hone in on emotionally resonant content that is grounded in hooks and storytelling frameworks that are actually proven to work in different platforms. And I'm sure you've taken a look at Instagram lately, TikTok, even LinkedIn. Everyone now is moving towards storytelling, right? So educational content is good here and there, but really the content is outperforming everything else. Is how do I take this boring concept or maybe complex concept that I want to talk about and turn it into a story that resonates with my target audience? And that's the kind of content that wins now. And for us, a big part of how we foresee the future of this product post this campaign is to really take a lot of the resources we just got recently and whatnot, and potentially even fundraising to really train our AI even more on storytelling frameworks and hooks that people struggle to really ideate around.
So do you guys? So it sounds like it does. Does it do Agentic, where you can take a brand and then you load up all your voice and all that? And I know you can do. I know it's a tier 3. So it looks like a lot of people here have tier 3. I recommended tier 3, and a lot of people here have tier 3 is what I'm seeing here. But I guess this is more of my question was, sounds like it does a lot of Agentic, where you can kind of build stories on a particular brand. And I know with the tier 3, I know you can do unlimited brands. So are you saying that if I wanted to make money with this, right? Because on my channel, we're all about making money, right? Saving money and making money. So if I wanted to make some money right now, give us one money-making idea. I always put my founders on the hook. Give us one money-making idea with Vocable that we can use right now today with a tier 3 package.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up. I literally just did a video about this. Faceless video content channels. I
Okay.
have someone that reached out that literally has been using Vocable to start two different channels, a YouTube channel, Faceless content, and then a TikTok channel. And it's all scripts from Vocable. It's basically like generates 5 different campaigns across different 5 trending topics
Hmm.
of his niche, and then has a bunch of scripts that he has to upload to, for example, InVideo or other video generation platform that he uses. So
Mhm.
obviously he doesn't record any of them. And
Right.
then now he has volume with these channels because you want to just continue posting consistently until you start accumulating views, which translates into passive income. And this is actually something that I myself now are doing for me. I don't have a TikTok, so I finally created a new TikTok channel for myself, and it's all AI generated video content about AI for me that I basically used Vocable to create campaigns around the future of AI in marketing. I created campaigns around agentic AI and what to expect, around emotionally resonant content using AI. And so I had now basically 90 days worth of scripts that I used then into InVideo AI to turn into faceless video content. And now I have automated that process where my team is basically starting to post for me on a single day, on a daily basis. So, and faceless video content channels are probably the easiest now passive income you can make using fully AI generated content creation processes, and it is a growing trend as well.
So you see faceless videos being a trend, or I mean, because I'm trying to, I you know, I like inbound marketing. I'm an inbound marketing guru. I think a lot of people know me for that. So I'm trying to get, so what you're saying is, and I like that concept, is like, hey, listen, you can, Jenny, nobody's saying you can't stop doing your inbound marketing, but if you wanted to create an additional revenue stream off to the side just with some faceless stuff, you don't even have to think about it as hard using Vocable and just create a whole nother faceless. I've never seen faceless on TikTok. I guess you could. I'm not even interested in the
Yeah, no,
TikTok.
no. But I think you and I think differently, and this is interesting because my brother, who's my co-founder, is not a marketer, right? He's like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
a behind the scenes type of guy. I don't
Right.
really care about building a brand. I don't care if people see me. I just want to put out volume of content. Nobody
Sure.
knows I'm behind it. And
Sure.
then go for the views. You don't go for the thought leadership. You don't go for the marketing messaging. You don't
Mm,
go for the
okay.
brand building, which is me. That's all me.
Mhm.
And me, for example, I've always had to associate myself with any kind of marketing, whether it's in my last startup, any other company I've worked for. I've always associated like my face as my brand and as a way to market what I do. But then there is a whole other world that I'm discovering now, that where you don't even know who's behind a channel that is popping. I'll give you an example of one that I'm a subscriber to it because I absolutely love this kind of stuff, and I have no idea who's behind it, but they're crushing it. They have grown a whole YouTube channel with just 50 videos only, and they're already at like almost 100,000 subscribers. And it's just about quantum shifting, which is a
Mm,
concept that I'm so into these days.
sure.
Quantum manifestation, quantum shifting, and it's basically a fully AI generated video, and I'm very much aware of it. But the content still makes sense. You can tell the AI's voice, the voice is AI generated. You could probably also tell that the script is generated with AI, and then the full video is all AI generated stock footage. So, but it didn't stop me from subscribing and still religiously listening to it every single night, because it
Mm,
kind of brings some kind of message that I want to just resonate with, and that still provides some value. Again, I have no idea who's behind it. And there are so many of these channels. There are, channels that just talk about like culture, for example. Here are the
sure.
different cultures around the world, and
Right.
you don't know who's running it. So there's so many topics, I think now, and it's almost like an underground, growing trend, because the people that are running this and running the play on it and making passive income are not building brands. They're building content channels that
Mm,
attract views, and it's a numbers game. And then you get paid per views, and it's the end of it. And then they take that model and they replicate it across different niches that are trending. And
mhm.
then they just need scripts. They need tools that generate the video, and then boom. You don't have to film, you don't have to edit, you don't have to script yourself. It's all AI powered.
Wow. So you guys got the premium gasoline, right? To put into that. And I mean, still a little effort though on the back end to try to make sure that you get what you want. But as far as having the gasoline, you guys are the gasoline truck. It says, hey, we're going to give you all the gas you need to go. So one of the other things that we had talked about, I know me and my channel and I, we kind of been trying to figure out what these themes are with these founders and their tools, right? So what we had all said that we didn't really want another tool that was more of a wrapper around an LLM. We didn't want that because those tools are kind of here and then they're gone, and then because the competition is so fierce. And so what has the staying power with Vocable, and why we should be excited about our tier 3s, or why should we be excited? What's the staying power, right? Because it's this is moving every day. We had a conversation yesterday and it's already changed the day. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So what's the staying power? Is it Eman or Iman, or what is it?
Iman. Yes.
Eman. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I got it.
Yeah, thank you for checking. No, that is a really good question, because I'm also always, obviously myself, I'm my own customer zero, and a lot of what I'm building is also as a result of my own pain points. And so I think that's probably one of the best ways these days to relate as a founder. It's not just I can build an AI tool because I can, and a lot of people can these days with the how low the barrier of entry is, but really understanding the customer's pain points and the true and providing a solution for what people are struggling with. And I will say that I think the biggest now issue, and probably where the biggest demand is going to be, and this is why I think tier 3 is going to be great, because you will have this as a part of your offering, no matter how much we add more to it, is a much deeper and thorough brand personalization or brand training of the AI.
Okay.
And I know for a fact that no matter how good you get at prompt engineering, or no matter how great a tool you find is, there's always a little bit of that gap where you just feel disconnected from the output, completely disconnected from feeling like, oh, this is not really understanding what I'm trying to achieve. And so what I've been working on personally, and also just with my team now as a next chapter, immediately kind of as a next upgrade of the product, is almost a step-by-step brand training onboarding that the users get to do before they even start thinking about strategy, before they even think about content. Let's think about your brand voice, but also your customer voice, and really help you dig deeper into what is the outcome goal for you with content. Because I think a lot of people do want to create content. Obviously, we all know the power of it, but not many have the bandwidth or the knowledge or the expertise to really take a step back and understand, how does this content align with my business KPIs, and how do I continuously iterate on this brand strategy so that I'm not just spinning my wheels in the void and actually achieving something with the content that I'm creating. And I think it all starts with brand training. And I will say, and obviously for us, we couldn't really focus too much on that at the beginning. We were bootstrapped for the most part, and so we really wanted to get the first initial version of the product out there. But now with this next version of the platform, the most detailed part of the whole process is going to be at the brand training level. And also the way we're thinking through it, maybe I shouldn't even give this out, because maybe other competitors might think on it. So we'll slide this into their.
We don't want any trade secrets now. I mean,
not trade secrets, but I will just keep it at a high level, but just say, because the way a lot of AI tools function is that every user account doesn't have their own AI trained really deeply on their brand, because they're all using one broad, LLM or mix of LLMs. But with us, we really want to almost assign and fine tune each user's account to their own AI.
I see. So are you guys using one LLM, or are you using a combo, or you got your own mix going?
We're using our a mix of open source and closed source, but with more system training and fine tuning. But now with each account, for example, user account will have almost a fine-tuned version of their own AI at their account level, using open source models.
Now you guys have this piece in there. You have this where it gives you I want to know, tell us a little bit more about that, where it gives you this rating. right? There's this rating on content.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that and how is that SEO driven, or it's just based on, you know, where is that coming from? Because I've seen that in a couple of different models even prior to you guys, and we always wonder, man, is it because SEO is kind of not SEO anymore, right?
So really SEO, it's more kind of, and again, this one is more of a general, you know, and like it takes an inventory of your just content in general, and then is able to optimize it or tell you where, you know, again, at the highest level. It's not as personalized as obviously right now as it will be in the near future. But moving forward, the way we see the scoring level is also based on all the brand training that you have gone through prior to that, because you want to make sure that the content, the output is also scored based on what your goals are, right? Because some people want to create educational content and just grow and engage. Others want to create content that actually converts and drives sales. So a lot of the scoring is almost going to be also personalized to your account based on the brand training onboarding that you've gone through.
So if you say, hey, I want to be known as a thought leader, then it's going to score you on your thought leaderness, I guess. Is that so that's the second iteration of you guys coming, and that's okay. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and also being able to in a way humanize it. Now, I'm not a big believer, and I think if you've seen some reviews that I have answered to, I would go, this is a hill I die on, is I'm not a believer of AI detector scores. Those I don't think they're accurate, and there's no such thing as true AI detector models, because that's how GANs, you know, work. They're supposed to basically trick the system. But I think that there are ways that we are now exploring, because we did have an idea of having an AI generated content scoring, kind of, okay, this is 70% AI generated, but it doesn't really make sense for us. So what we're trying to think about here is how do we score your content by maybe also highlighting parts of the output and saying, okay, this is now where your human input needs to come in place, right? So I think some people know that you can't just copy and paste. And I just feel like the need to reiterate this, because a lot of people still do this, which is copy and paste ChatGPT content or even Vocable's content straight into their blog, straight into their captions.
Right.
Like that. No, don't do that. You know, that's your first draft. And even I'm selling you an AI content tool, and I'm telling you.
I mean, I don't do that. I think you need to personalize it first person and tell stories. I remember when I first started using AI, I was like, I could see where I can insert one of my other stories here and make it more real. And I started doing that, and my LinkedIn posts got more activity as a result of that than versus straight copying and pasting. Speaking of which, right? So you guys have, as of right now, you have your direct integrations, you have WordPress, you have Webflow, Wix, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. What do you guys have? Any other integrations coming up, or did I miss one? Or is that new? Or did you guys add any? Or
Facebook? No, we added Facebook, but we had some issues with Meta's processing, and then we finally fixed that. I will be completely transparent that we are going to revamp our whole integration experience. And again, we had that as almost kind of a quick add-on, because it's not, and I'll be honest, it's not what we wanted to focus on at the beginning, because it's not what we thought this is going to be the best value add as a product, right? There's so many scheduling tools out there. It's, you know, the market is saturated with that. So our thought process is not, oh, let's work very hard on integrations from the very get-go. It was more about, let's work on the output of the AI and really create content that is actually emotionally resonant across different channels. And that's our biggest value prop in V1, right? Now, going into V2, we will be revamping the user experience for integrations, and of course, adding more integrations once we're able to also allow you to upload images, other supporting assets, because for Instagram, there is no point for us to integrate with it now when we're not creating images, we're not creating videos for you. Right. So there's really no way of posting directly.
The two main things on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Images and videos,
Exactly. So yes, we are adding a lot more integrations from a social media perspective, like as in channels, scheduling, publishing directly from Vocable to your channels through native integrations on our platform. But we're also going to have an API integration so you can integrate with your other workflow tools. And this is something that a lot of people have asked about from the AppSumo, of course, user feedback is, can I connect this to XYZ? And it's like, obviously we can't have integrations for every single app out there that everybody's using. So
Right.
being able to have an API that you can integrate on your own with your own automation tools and other workflow systems that you are operating on is also another integration route that we're rolling out.
So Jonathan keeps asking, I think he's asked like 5 times already. So he must wants to leave a tip or become a subscriber to the channel. Hint, hint. But he asked me, he says, hey, can you ask why creating a brand from text is currently not working? He says, is there a fix coming?
Yes. So we just realized that yesterday there was some accounts, not all of them. Some accounts have an issue with saving, or the save button just was not popping.
Yeah.
It was grayed out.
Yeah.
I was on a call with one customer as well to see that, and I did it on my end and with other couple accounts, and it worked on our end. Then we tried it when she added a website. We just used Vocable as a website just for,
Demo. Yeah.
purposes. And then once it did that and she came back to the text, it somehow worked. So obviously it's a glitch. And 100% we're literally been working on it the past couple of days because some people have reported that having some issues with text-based brand add-on. So yes, and if you want
got that, Jonathan?
well, Jonathan, you can email me, and then if I need to go on a call with you as well to make sure that your account.
Jonathan's gonna email you. He says, hey, I saw you on the Digital Growth Hacks Club, and you told me. So Jonathan, a couple of things. Yeah, make sure that you do have a website. What I've figured out, and sometimes even for some of these, is I'll have to go back and probably whatever I was trying to do.
Refresh.
Yeah, maybe the code didn't like it or something. That's fixed more problems for me, right? I'll go back or I'll refresh, I'll log out, log in. We're not supposed to have those errors, but I think what people don't understand, and again, my channel is about educating, trying to make sure we make money, trying to make sure that the founders make money. The reason why I want you to make money is because I want my initial investment in you to have a good return on investment. And some people are like, oh, wait, no, they don't do this, do that. I'm gonna give them a one taco. Really? But you own it. Why would you give them a one taco when you still own it? Right. And it's like, so you have to educate. So even in his instance, they'll help you out. They'll get you fixed up. But what you have to understand is when a person puts out software, or as a founder, you put this out, there's millions of combinations that they have to make it work for, right? Does it have the right browser, right? Are they looking at it from a mobile? If they're looking at it from a mobile, is it an iOS or is it? There's so many variables, right? So never being a founder or never putting anything out, right? You run into this conundrum, everything should work. It's like, dude, that's not, you're going to have hiccups, right? And I get disappointed when people try to beat up founders on AppSumo. Hey, I tried to log in, it just didn't work. It was like, yeah, dude, but you're on Treasure Island, what Treasure Island, right?
That's so interesting. Yeah, and also and by the way too, and this is because I've built startups before, but this is my brother's a software engineer, so he's been in the SaaS business for a while. For me, I've been in publishing and content, so I've built publishing platforms. But SaaS is a whole different beast as well, because also now I'm realizing that sometimes everything, like when people report a lot of this stuff and we test it out on our end, there are no errors that pop up, and it's at the user account level that we also didn't account for. And so we have to manually jump on a call with some people too, sure, and go through it. And that's why obviously bigger software companies have like huge support teams, right? And they're able to really QA all the 24/7. But you're so right. And I appreciate that thoughtful kind of reminder, because I do think that especially early stage software, there's a lot of pressure to like come out the gate and be able to impress, and there's not a single little thing that should go wrong. And I'm that perfectionist type of founder too, which is way worse for me. But I have learned, I will say, because of AppSumo, I learned to give myself some grace and be like, you know what, some people are going to run into things, and some people are very patient and great. I would say most people I've dealt with AppSumo have been so gracious and great with feedback and patient and understood where we're coming from and that we're working around the clock. And but sometimes you still encounter people that are more impatient and want it all now.
Some people, yeah.
It keeps you on your toes.
You know what? And those are the people that, hey, I got a tier 1. It's like, yeah, you got a tier 1. Okay. So if you're invested in the company, right? And I do get it. If some people pay huge amounts, then they're like, hey, because there are some tools on AppSumo we had in the past, cost you like $1,000, right? And, you're like, what? So you want everything to work. And I've turned up the heat on a lot of founders where I've put out greater than $700. I'm like, hey, nah, dude, we're not supposed to have this. And so, working in partnership with them, though, we've been able to get, for the most part, most of it's done. So let's get back to the money making. Let's get back to the money making. Are there any other? Listen, are there any other any other money making secrets? My audience love these money making hacks, so give me this then. So I do have another question here. I'll get that to Freddie. He's a member of our channel, so I definitely get to his question. Are there any other money making ideas that we can take advantage of? Because I think at the tier 3, you guys give us 4 profiles, or tell me about that, because I want to go into another direction. Or do you know? Let me look it up for you. I don't know if you have it.
Tier 3 is basically I think probably the most generous we will ever be in this life, and also the most generous we will.
The most generous, yeah, because you get unlimited voices. You get unlimited AI powered campaigns. How are you able to support all of that?
This is also limited time. We just rolled this out, and for now we're able to support it because you'd be surprised. I know when people think unlimited, and this, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm just gonna be honest here as a founder and experience, and also in general, human psychology. When you give people unlimited, they don't always take advantage of it, right? So when we take stock of like, okay,
some sumo links will take.
And listen, be my guest, because this is how we learn.
They will max that puppy out.
This is also why we're offering it a very limited time, but for us, it's a huge investment into the future of the product. So we can do way more with our platform, as we of course have we start kind of gathering resources, and we want to hire more internally. And we think this AppSumo campaign was really able to help us drive more of those resources we need. And also these people that are joining on tier 3 have been our biggest shapers of the roadmap. So and advocates too. And to be honest, you kind of need that as a founder at the beginning, because we've been building in a vacuum up until now. And especially for me, I'm not the kind of person that wanted to build in public early on, and I wish I did. Now I feel like with AppSumo, it made me more comfortable. You just have to kind of like swallow your pride and be open to criticism and stuff. And
for sure,
that actually did a lot more for us to have a much clearer vision of what we want to focus on the most, because we can go in different directions, right? We can more become a video generation platform because people want that.
You got to build what the people want. And so here's what I'll say, Eman. It is getting very, very tough in these streets out here, these AI streets. I mean, my background is finance, right? My background is finance. I understand economics. I understand markets. I understand stock market. I understand all of that, right? Are you good?
Yes. By the way, I'm so sorry because I'm in that. I'm bringing my nephews and to Disney World, and so I wanted to still make sure that I come into the call. So I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're Disney World in Florida, right?
Yeah.
That place does not disappoint. We have one out here in Los Angeles, Anaheim, but Disney World is.
Oh yeah, no, we're on the other side.
One in Florida, yeah, it's a different level. I kind of like that one a little bit better. I've been to both, and so no, yeah, enjoy out there. I'm gonna let you go on a couple of questions here. So, as it's getting tough out here in these AI streets and the competition, we think, right, or I have seen, and I know a lot of people came back and pushed back on me because I always look at tools, I evaluate them, and bring them in. I tell people I pull it off the shelf. I look at it, kick the tires. We thought maybe we had seen vocable before in another iteration with maybe another tool or two, right? So you got Freddie here. Freddie's like, hey, how do you differentiate vocable from follower? And to me, follower is more for scheduling, right? They'll create content. I think you guys have the content creation over a follower. I think follower is really on the content creation. I think follower can do some graphics and stuff. You guys are just not there yet. What I noticed, and I'm just going to tell you this, and I'll tell you to your face, when I uploaded your tool for the first time, I pressed in something and it says, hey, give me this. It basically blew up my computer with so much information. I was like, I put in one prompt and my hair was blown back. I used to have an afro before I got vocable.
Oh, no, damn, I missed it.
The funny part about that is I could not believe the content it was throwing my way. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Then I wanted to see, is this good content, right? Because there's content that comes out, like, no, that's not what I was looking for. Then it's good content. Guys, that's some pretty decent content. When I was like, this is not a bad tool. And the reason why I said I thought I may have seen it before is there were some other tools that was kind of doing a little bit of this. They were not giving you the volume of the content and the variations of the content. Like you can do 6 months to a year's worth of stuff in one prompt. And a lot of other ones, they were like, here you go. Here's a couple. You can do 3 days here. And then they weren't giving you the different ways you can use it. So tell me about the thought that went behind that. I don't think people even know that about vocable.
Yeah,
and information, you're just going to get your hair blown back.
Yeah, and because this goes back to what I mentioned earlier, like what is the biggest, the superpower. That is our superpower, and that is also the superpower that I continuously, at least myself, even involved with the product team to improve on. As we add on more LLMs, I think the content's going to be better even more, especially when we roll out search-based LLM that is actually able to browse the internet and turn a lot of that information that is aligned with your industry into storytelling and emotionally resonant content that actually blows your mind. And not only that, but we do it in volume, because the reason why, like I mentioned, the difference with my biggest frustration with other AI tools is that they're great at automating certain parts of the content lifecycle. Like Follower, I think it's all about scheduling across different channels, which I think is a lot of great value, to be honest. It's what people don't want to do, but they don't excel. And I'll be completely honest, they don't excel at the content output. And this is coming from a very, very well-trained content marketer across a lot of different platforms.
I agree with that statement. That's a fair statement, right? They're not bad, but they don't, not like you guys.
One-off post, right? So like, let's say you go into, again, I don't use Followers, so I'm not sure, but the ones I've used and even taken the other chatbots, you're not really creating like volumes at once with one prompt. You're creating one-off post, and then the script is not really great. For example, I mean, I love in-video AI, right? So I've used it for different branding videos and even faceless content videos. But every time I give it a prompt in its own platform and it turns it into a script, I can't use that. So now what I do is I use vocable for all my scripting, and then I take that copy and then use it on Canva for graphics, and I use it for in-video for video content. I use it on Post Neutral for carousels, and I use it for HeyGen for my AI avatar. So we wanted to really nail down the strategy, right? So the content plan, which is the foundation of every content you want to create, whether it's video, graphics, even LinkedIn posts, articles, it all starts with the strategy and then the content copy. Then you turn that into graphics, into video, into whatever that may be. And I don't think there are a lot of tools out there, even though it seems like a very saturated market, that have truly nailed the content output where you're like, oh, I don't have to think too much about the storytelling behind this. Like, this has already given me a good enough to start with, and I can just take on some of the work around like personalizing it with my human touch, and then I can do that at scale. And so For us, like I said, it's been quality and quality. That's my North Star. And that's something we want to continuously improve on from an AI perspective, but also just from a user experience perspective, where now you'd be able to, instead of, generating each piece by itself, which now you have to click on view content to generate each draft, because again, we have that brief that's kind of a stepping stone to give you a little bit more flexibility to tweak things before you generate the draft. But now we would be able to just generate all at once if you want to. If you want to just generate all of the 30 pieces at scale without having to go through each one, then you'd be able to do that. So there's a few user experience that definitely needs a little bit of improvement, and I'll be the first to say it. I'm not oblivious to that. But I think, again, we wanted to first let people try it as much as possible and see where the biggest feedback is, and that's where we want to tackle first. And for us, it's been personalization and then more scalability around user experience.
So let me ask you this, as we kind of bring this to a close here, about another 10 minutes or so, is there any room for maybe and you've probably been getting a lot of requests for this, but is there any room for like an agency or a full agency or anything along that nature? You come to AppSumo, right? A couple things we're looking for. We're looking for webhooks, right? Because we want to extend your program and use it with some of our other programs that we already got from AppSumo. Another thing is, can it be used for an agency? Now I can work with another person that's just starting out in business, right? And they don't know anything, and I can bring them in, put them in an agency seat and work with them and coach them, and then give them the ability to be able to cut their wings and to go out on their own. So those are kind of the two things. And then if you are going to do an agency and you do provide more seats, we kind of want to know what would be our cost to scale, right? If I now want to have 50 clients underneath me, I want to be able to bring them in and put them underneath my Vocable umbrella, and then coach them and grow them and water them and, put them out and clip them on and let them grow their businesses. Are there any ideas on that? Or I think different.
Well, so tier 3, so tier 3 100% was built for agencies, because that is a huge market we're going after now. So it already comes with 4 seats. So think about it as when you get tier 3 of vocable.ai on AppSumo right now, and by the way, there's only a week left at this point, you get 4
days.
You have so with tier 3 you get 4 accounts, and each account, by the way, so you don't share one account. Each account is separate. So that means think of it as 4 separate vocable AI accounts under tier 3 with unlimited campaigns and unlimited brands, which is very generous. And you can collaborate on campaigns, specifically on documents, you can assign briefs to each other, and you can obviously share a campaign with your client.
So none of the seats can see the other seats. So if I have client A can't see client B stuff. And
so you can't. So you would share one if you create a campaign with client A, then you share that campaign specifically with them, and that's all they'll see. And that's all they'll see in their accounts. If you have client B that you also create content for on the same Vocable account, then you can share that specific campaign you created for client B, and they won't be able to see everything else. So it's very separated. Now, moving forward with tier 3 and eventually when we roll out our own agency plan, you'd be able to add more seats for your team. But that's also different from having, for example, a shareable link. So most agencies don't need their clients working on the content or generating their own content. They probably don't want that, because then they would just drop them and use Vocable on their own. But they would get, it would come with shareable links just for reviewing. For example, if you just want to send it to your client for approval or just for a simple review, like, oh, here's what I'm thinking about this LinkedIn campaign, for example, and they will be able to just access the campaign through a review link. So they won't need their own full account with all the features. So that would come as part of the agency tier. You don't have to add a seat for that. But if you want your team to be added to campaigns and create content and edit it and create briefs and assign to each other briefs, then you'd be able to add seats eventually moving forward for a monthly price. But for now, With tier 3, you have 4 seats already available.
So really only tier 3 is going to unlock the future of Vocable for any LTD user or something like that. So
for the long-term value with unlimited features, yes, I would say tier 3. And especially if you are someone who thinks, and you don't have to be an agency, by the way, maybe you are a solopreneur who manages 2 e-commerce brands and you think you might have a bit more later, or maybe you think you might have an assistant that can help you with, or maybe a content manager down the line. Then this would be great for you, because like if you think you're going to grow in your content journey,
Sure.
then tier 3 is like a no-brainer, right? Because you're getting 4 accounts for the price of 1, with unlimited everything. Unlike tier 1, you have very limited campaigns and tier and.
So have you heard of a tool called, I don't want to muddy the waters here, but have you ever heard of a tool called Mavik?
No. Mavik?
Yeah, another female founder, right? She's from Asia Pacific. I can't remember, but her tool is kind of similar, but they do a lot of sausage making in the back, right? I don't even know if that's the right term, but they don't blast out like yours is different, right? Theirs is a little bit different, but that's a tool I definitely your tools are kind of similar. Yours, I can see yours doing a lot of damage in volume wise. Theirs is very slow, very meticulous, very concentrated, and I think that's where I think you guys are moving to. But theirs is already there, and they're like, yeah, we're not trying to give you millions of pieces of content. We're just trying to give you content around, what is it? Agentic? Is that the term? Where they're very concentrated, very fine-tuned in what they do. So this conversation is not about them. I'm just saying I can see where you guys are going in that. And I'm, like I said, I have your tool, I have their tool, but I have your tool for a different reason. The reason why I have your tool is because when I'm out of ideas, right, just completely flat out ideas, I can just load up a prompt and it's like backing up to a fire truck and you're like, oh my God, this is so much information, and it's useful information, like I said. So, and I like the fact that I can do the agency piece and to extend that as well.
No, and that's what we wanted to, at least at the very end of the day, when you're like, okay, I'm stuck, right? And I think the target market we're going after now, and at these early stages, have been people and business owners who don't have that content marketing expertise. They don't have also the capacity, the bandwidth to think strategically about what they need to post. And so this makes it almost a no-brainer, where you're like, okay, let me just plug in, here's a general idea of how I want to show up online, right? So I want to talk about XYZ. It doesn't have to be well written, prompt engineered in a way. Like, a lot of that is done for you in the back end. We have very strong system prompts and instructions, as well as fine-tuned models. And so you just basically want to brain dump, and then hopefully it gives you at least, so when you have volume as well, and again, this is not because you need to be posting every single day. I'm not saying that that's what you need to be doing. Some people post 3 times a week, but when you think of it, if you have 30 days worth of ideas, then at least a good, hopefully 20 of them are going to be like, okay, I'm good with these 20. They're like enough of what I need for the next month. Let me just go focus on this, right? So you're almost like, volume sometimes creates diversity, and you're able to really think outside the box, and then you can pick and choose what you want. And if you don't, then you can also generate a new campaign and go a different way.
Yeah, I think Isaac, this is a very good point, that how a person can go into your tool and get overwhelmed very quickly, because he says in the plan tab, will it eventually load only the brand you're working on, or is it just in the campaign tab right now, it loads all brands? And honestly, that is overwhelming, because I have so much content now. I'm loading all the brands. It's like, whoa, right? So is that some feedback you guys are getting, or?
Yeah, yes. Well, we had that already. Because the backstory is that when we launched, right before we launched on AppSumo, we created this campaign feature. So it's very new. Prior to that, it was only through the plan. You could generate a plan for your brand, and then you can expand on it. And then we thought, okay, people don't want to just generate an overall plan. They probably want different campaigns for different seasons, for different reasons, and for different types of, channels. And then we had launched the campaign feature probably 2 weeks before the AppSumo launch. And so that's why now the plan tab is showing everything at once. But yes, 1000%, there are two things that we're addressing to make the overwhelm a lot less crazy. Is we definitely want to add the bulk delete that's actually coming up next week, where you're bulk deleting a bunch of stuff, because some people sometimes generate stuff just to brainstorm and they don't want it. And then you'd be able to sort through all of your plan by brand, not just by campaigns.
And I think this is kind of what Jonathan, who's hasn't left a donation or has not joined my channel yet, but I'm trying to hint because he's got a lot of questions.
I like your style.
Maybe he's used my affiliate link in the past or something. I don't know. So these are good questions, right? He says, do you know if there's a feature to check if that content has already been used? I thought that this is a good question though. So say content has already been pushed to approved when planning, right? So is there an alert saying, hey, this has already been published already? Or is there I can see an already published
there is an
page or almost already published tabs, so you don't repeat the stuff, when you're putting out a lot of, because you give us so much content. It's like, oh man, I posted that 3 weeks ago. I didn't even know. Right.
Yeah. And that's also why we have this improved user experience that'll be more automated, where you can set it also to expand on your campaigns based on what you've already published. And that's why that we have those status, so that when you do hit publish, then it remembers that topic and that angle has already been published, and it should not generate more similar ideas. So yes, we are making sure that is something, one, that you're able to sort through yourself as a human, but also that the AI itself remembers as you approve, plan, and even delete. If you delete if you delete a content idea because you didn't like it or whatnot, that's kind of feedback, right, for the AI that maybe we don't want to go this direction. So this is again going back to our to my thought on what I said earlier. It was like every user account will have its own AI learning. Oh, it's not its own AI, but it's fine-tuned AI learning from the user feedback, the user edits as well. And so that way your content output grows with you. So it's not kind of starting from scratch every single time. And that's a big part of, again, what we are working on for the next iteration of the platform.
All right. So get you out of here. I think we have one or two more here. This is a good question from Johnny Kane, who is in fact a member of the channel. He's giving him his shout outs, right? I just be clowning. My subscribers know me. They know who I am. They know how I get down. I tell them, listen, I'm only here because you guys come, you guys support the channel, you use affiliate links, you show up for the founders. We want the founders to be better. I subscribe to founders, right? Because again, I'm a finance guy. If I bought a tool for $319 that gives me unlimited, right? As long as that founder and that business is in business, what is my return on that? If and it's like, I don't want to do the math for people, but I'm a finance guy in that. So what Johnny is saying, he says, hey, listen, since Tier 3 is built for agencies, are there plans to add client reporting? I guess that would be the next iteration and the next 3 guys ahead of client reporting features, advanced analytics to make the agency workflows even smoother in Tier 3.
Yes. Yeah, we will for sure. That's kind of again, back to my vision from the first, like we want to be an end-to-end system, right? So you start with brand. Here's what my brand is about. Here's the strategy I need. Here's the content that you give me. And then let me schedule it and follow this plan and publish it, and then monitor the performance and then close the loop on it. So that becomes the feedback loop as well for the AI, because I think that's, again, what a lot of AI tools aren't doing well right now, is that, okay, you've given me great content, obviously, that's wonderful, but then is this content that is actually working for me? Can I track it? And then how can my AI/me learn from this performance so that I can iterate on the next campaign, so I can iterate on the next strategy? So this is, at least for me, my vision as a content marketer, this is what would really mean automated content lifecycle across your marketing channels. And then of course, being able to track that across different channels and analytics. And so with agencies, then you'd be able to have that for each workspace. So you would need to set up your clients' brands as workspaces, which is what we're rolling out as well in the next version.
So that was go ahead. I'm sorry.
Good. And I meant, I was saying we built a lot of this already on an agentic level, and it's all code. I think what we wanted to just hold off, because this campaign has been so great to just see where the biggest priority is. Because the thing that we don't want to do, and I'm sure you would agree with this, Jenny, and other people that here are like maybe have founder experience, is that you don't want to overwhelm people with everything all at once, right? So it's like, where is the biggest value right now?
Yeah.
And how can we be known for one really good thing and then go all in on that? And then as people knowing more about and get comfortable with that value, then we can add on. That's like adding on a lot of these features that's almost the easy part, because a lot of these features are not new. Analytics reporting is not new. These are not like proprietary big tech company features that we need. It's more about like, what is the biggest value at this point as a platform, and then how do we bring that into a user experience that continuously adds on features that are valuable, but without overwhelming people, that you become an everything for everyone.
So I'm going to leave you with a piece of advice, and then I'm going to allow you to close us out. And the reason why I say this is something new that I'm starting to do with my founders. And one thing that I will tell you, and I'm going to single headshot myself in here, because if you take heed to this, when you come back and visit this video, or any founder that's seeing this, I want them to understand one thing to be true. When founders come to AppSumo, what we want them to do, and what I found the most successful founders, the ones that have been listening, and definitely from my channel, my feedback, my members, when it comes to T. Nicole and Johnny Kang and Perry and Mark, and when we talk to founders, we say, listen, if you can make these 3 things happen, you're going to win. And here's those 3 things. Those 3 things are: help us make money, help our clients make money, and at the same time, find a way for you to make money as well. And if you help us make money, we're going to stay and we're going to run with you. You come out with something new, says, hey, we added this new feature, we have to charge an additional $50 a month or whatever. If you're charging me an extra $50 a month, but yet I'm making $5,000 a month, I have zero problems with that. So on the back end, when you scale and you create these agency pieces, allow an opportunity for all 3 people to win, and you will always win. And that's what I've been teaching, when I've been preaching. That's what I share in my communities. If you make those 3 things happen, I think most founders will come and says, oh, we got to make sure we're profitable. Listen, if you make sure I'm profitable, I'm going to make sure you're profitable, and I'm going to make sure you're around. Because if I'm paying you $50, I'm paying you $100 a month, and I'm making $5,000 a month, I have zero problems paying you $100 a month. And I will help you scale, and I'll help you grow. So that is my advice to you. Iman, I'm going to leave you in your own single shot. What did you think about that first? And then I'll leave you with your own single shot.
I absolutely love that. And I agree with you, because I think that's also how you build a diehard community, where you're really contributing to the bottom line for everybody. And then people are not going to negotiate the price that you're charging with you at that point, because they know the value. And like you said, I think ultimately it's all about, especially in the day and age that we live in now, it's all about, how do you help me make money, right? So and this is also something that we have thought about in our positioning more, because, we say, okay, we're going to help you create content or save this or save hours. But then some people are like, okay, why do I need to create content? Okay, you're right. Like, so why do I need all this content?
Right,
like, how does that trickle down to, okay, well, here's how this content then helps you make more money, or grow your brand, or build an audience, and charge this, and launch these courses, and you know what I mean? So we are really trying to also think now, as we evolve the product, we're also evolving the different use cases for each
Yes.
type of customer,
Mhm.
that trickles down to how does this help me grow my business? How does this help me make money? And I love that you brought that up, because this is something I've been talking to my team about. We're even redoing a lot of our landing page, a lot of our positioning, messaging, because we also are experimenting ourselves on how even our own content can help launch, for example, different ways for people to make more money or bring in passive income or grow their businesses or whatnot. And this is like a kind of a part of our use case experimentation as well. It's not just building the features anymore. It's not just about saving time or asking you to create more content because you need more volume. It's more like, what are the actual different use cases that we want to focus on and go all in on those for those 3 different tiers of markets that we service.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's eating, right? And the debate I had yesterday as we close out is AI is going to eliminate a lot of jobs. It's going to create a lot of solopreneurs. We're going to end up with a great big giant marketplace or flea market, if you will. And a lot of people are going to be selling services to other people, a lot of other people. And if we get to, I think we're moving towards that. A lot of people don't listen. A lot of people don't know that. Iman, I'm telling you, I'm a finance guy. I know how the GDP works. I know how job growth works. I know how inflation works. If our GDP is built on consumerism, that is the number one factor that moves our entire ecosystem here in the United States. If that is the number one thing for us to consume, if AI is replacing jobs, there will be no dollars to consume. AI is doing a lot. And I think it's going to create more leaders in this industry and helping people create and set up their own businesses and create their own content. I see that there's a need for Vocable in our future, but I also see a need for us. If we can scale, you can scale. Everybody's eating, right? I might invite you over, you might get a saucer, but still you can still eat, right? I might have a plate because I was first to the AI race. But that's kind of my thought on that. I'll leave it with you as we kind of wrap up. I'll give you your single shot here to allow people. There's maybe some people still on the fence. I can assure you, there's some people right now on this chat saying, I have Mavik, I have Marquee, I have Follower. Why do I need Vocable? And you say to them,
well, I just want to say we're not selling you AI, and we're also not really selling you content at the end of the day. What, for me, I'm trying to provide people is really remove that friction, that creative friction between your ideas and the people that need to hear them. And that's also why we focused on volume and quality of the content, is really helping you make that impact and reach the audience in a way that resonates. And again, going back to growing your audience in a very strategic and consistent way. So it's not really, that's why we didn't focus on features around like scheduling and things of that nature. We're focused on helping you turn your expertise, your message that you've had for so long, your ideas, into emotionally resonant content that actually resonates with your audience and helps you grow your business and helps you grow your channels across the board. So we're not thinking in one-off posts. So it's not about creating the content. It's not about using AI to write faster or create better content. It's about creating content that actually aligns with your business and is rooted on proven frameworks and storytelling that have worked with your niche before and that have actually resonated with the target audience that you're going after. And it's only the beginning. So you're invested in the future.
Bravo. I couldn't have said it better myself. Listen, thank you for hanging out. You're on vacation. That says a lot to me for you to say, hey, Jenny, we can still make it happen. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And so I appreciate it.
I'm like, I'm not going to the water parks. You guys go do your thing. I got some talks to do,
No, that is so perfect. I'm glad you showed up for us. Hey, you guys need to pick it up. You guys know you need to use my link. I appreciate that. Support the channel. We're doing a lot. I love when founders come on here and just say, hey, here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we're trying to help you. Right. And the game is changing. And if people can't see that, then shame on them. I even got a pair of Meta glasses to see how much the game is changing.
This is what I'm doing next. You're right. I need your feedback on this. I want to know what you think.
I'm telling you, this is some sick stuff, right? So I'm in this AI thing, and I know you guys are doing some stuff, and but that's where we're headed. So listen, hey, you've been great, Iman. Thank you. Thank my audience, thank my team for showing up. I mean, my supporters, my Johnnies, my sister soldiers, my joyful stamping, all of my peeps, man, they be showing up for me. I really appreciate that. Nakuda showed up for me, T Nicole. Thank you guys so much. Fred out there. You guys have been great. You guys take care. Till next time. Goodbye for now.
Thank you, everyone.